Hello, beautiful people. I am back again. I told you guys I was going to show you the part two of this cake, and I'm glad that I've been able to edit it and all that. Thank you so much to our new subscribers. If you are just stopping by for the first time, I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much. And to our old subscribers, you guys are wonderful. I sincerely appreciate you guys. The last cake I posted, I see a lot of comments, lots and lots of comments, and people were saying, "Why did you not wear hand gloves? Why is there no filling on the cake? The cake is too dry. The cake is ugly. The cake is this and is that. You should go and learn proper baking skills from Brazil." So many comments. Some I had to just ignore it. And one thing people don't know is that every client is peculiar. There are some customers you have, and then they will tell you, "I don't want fruit in my cake. I don't want this flavor or that flavor." The traditional Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian baker, right? I'm not from Brazil, neither am I from Australia. The traditional Nigerian cake is a fruit cake, which is usually brown with lots of raisins and other condiments inside, right? So before you drop such comments, you would have asked the region and country where this cake is coming from. This cake is from Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian baker, like I said earlier, Nigeria, West Africa. So most of our traditional cakes here are fruit cakes. So that is why the cake is brown. And then we do not appreciate lot of fillings in this part of the world, except a client specifically requests for it. So most of our traditional cakes are just like this. We do not appreciate thin layers of cakes or lot of frost or lot of fillings and all that. We do not appreciate it in this part of the world. So before dropping such comments on the post, you would have asked where this cake is coming from. This is how most of our wedding cakes here are made. Most of them, like I said, if you subscribe to a YouTube channel that is owned by Nigeria, you will see that most of our wedding cakes are like this. And then it's not every content creator here on YouTube that likes filming all aspects of cake making and all that. I just enjoy doing it, and I believe that a lot of people will learn from my channel. That is why I do it. And for the glove part, let me clarify that. For the glove part, I do not, if you check my videos, I wear gloves in some of them. But I realize that I'm a health worker, right? I work in a hospital and I'm a baker as well. I realize that most of the gloves we have, they are not sterile gloves. So what's the point wearing a glove that it is not as clean as your hand? What I ensure I do is that I ensure I wash my hand before I start my job, after I start my job, and even at intervals. I don't need to show you that part where my hands are properly washed and then cleaned with a paper towel. So I prefer working with my hands, knowing that I wash them at intervals and before I start working, rather than wearing a glove that I know I'm going to use throughout, except I'm going to be changing it, or except the glove is a sterile one. So I appreciate the comments a lot because I am learning as well. Maybe I've already filmed this video, I wouldn't have made this like this, and I promise to show every process of the cake making. That is why I'm posting this. If not, I wouldn't have even posted it at all. I would have just allowed the video be. But a lot of the bad comments, I see a lot of good comments as well, and I want to sincerely appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you so much for your comment. It's really encouraging to post something and then people come and view it and then they drop positive comments for you. I sincerely appreciate you guys. For the bad ones, it's okay. I'm learning from you guys. Next time when I'm filming any video on YouTube, I will ensure I wear gloves. So this is the second tier of the cake. Alright, so in this video I'm showing how the second tier was made, how we because in the first video I've already showed you how to cover the cakes, because most of the cakes I use paneling method, so it's all the same. So there's no point showing you how I cover the other ones in this video, so that's why I skipped that part. So if you watch the first video, you will see how I covered that one. So the process is the same for every tier. So this is the biggest one, followed by the other one, the assist tier cake. All right, so this was when we were done crumb coating. So usually for my wedding cake, I crumb coat them like this. A lot of people appreciate chocolate ganache on their cakes and all that. If you can afford it, if you can do it, if your client wants it, you do it for them. Because chocolate is something some people don't like, while other people like it. So if your client wants chocolate ganache, you can use ganache on your cakes. But mostly here, what we do is to use cake crumbs and just crumb coat the cake. So these were the cakes when they were done, and we had other jobs that day. So we had to stencil the cakes. My royal icing recipe is 4 egg whites, 1 kg icing sugar, and 4 to 5 tablespoons of white vinegar. Right, put everything in a mixer and whip it up. You'll have this consistency of what I am using to stencil the cake. So all the cakes were stenciled. It was a lot. This cake was a lot of work. A 1 week job. It was a lot of work, and I had my team helping me and all that. Alright, so these were styrofoam. So this needed to be on top of the cakes, the last tier, right? So they were styrofoam. So I thought of doing this royal icing effect on it. Right, so I just apply royal icing around it, and I'm using my palette knife, to just dab it around it to give me the texture, the royal icing texture I needed. So it's pretty easy, something you can do. Like I said, the royal icing recipe, it's 4 egg whites, 1 kg confectioner sugar or icing sugar, then 4 to 5 tablespoons of white vinegar. So that is what I used for this one. So after applying the royal icing, I sprinkled sugar. This is granulated sugar. Yeah, granulated sugar. Just sprinkled it on it, and I needed it to have a shiny effect. Then after the granulated sugar, I sprinkled the glitters on it. Yeah, glitters. Yeah. So this is the glitter. I just sprinkled it on it, so you will see the shiny effect. I will take the camera very close, and then you will see it. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments, your likes, your shares, your subscription. I am grateful. Thank you so much. So this was it. So this was the shiny look I was looking for. So that's why I applied sugar first, granulated sugar, and then glitters. Right? See how beautiful it is. Like I said, all the cakes were stenciled. So this is a closer look, because I realized the other one I did, the camera wasn't this close. So this was how we all stenciled the cake. Stenciling took time because they were much. It took a lot of time. So this is it. Very beautiful. So the cake has separators and lighting. So I had to do the connection myself here. It each of the tier, there is a separator beneath each tier. So I needed to put this tape. This is tape light. Sorry, no, what's it called? Signage light. And then I used flex wire to do the connection. Baking will teach you almost everything. Electrical jobs, you know, carpentry. Baking is art. So this was it after we did the connection and the setup, because I needed to set up in the studio before we headed to the venue, right? So at the point, because the lighting gave me tough time. It was really not easy, you know, connecting all the wires and all that. At the point the light went off, we had to unstack. We started stacking all over again and all that. It was a very difficult one for me. So when eventually we were able to do it, I was excited. You can see the excitement in my face. I was jumping and praising God. I was excited. I mean, it took hours to make this light came up, hours upon hours. But when I eventually was able to do it, I was super excited. So this was the cake. We are ready to go out for delivery. But then something happened. Something unfortunate happened and I was very sad. Well, I live upstairs, right? So while we were trying to bring out the cake downstairs, the cake cracked, the fondant cracked, you know, you can see lots of cracks on it. At this point I was already crying. This was the morning of the event. How was I going to do? See, you can see lots of cracks on the cakes while they were trying to bring it out. The cake was very see the strength they were using to carry it. Was big. We had to, you know, take it to the car and everything cracked. Like, I will show you a video. See, this was when we got to the hall, right? This was when we got to the hall. It was too bad. There was nothing I could do but to start covering all over again. So imagine you cover the cake, you went to the venue for your setup, and then the cake scattered. So we had no choice. We had to make another rear icing. We made another fondant immediately at the hall. We were already in the hall this moment. Made another fondant, start covering the cake all over again. This was the first year, so the other ones were still intact. Nothing was wrong with those ones. But this first one scattered beyond something I could use sugar flowers to cover. So we had to start covering all over again. It was a tough weekend for me. I was stressed, I was tired, I almost gave up, but the resilience in me never allowed me. And then the fact that a bride is waiting for her cake, you know, when she comes to the hall and then she's not seeing a cake, or she's seeing a scattered cake. And remember, this is the base. All the other tears are going to come on it. So imagine if the base is bad, the whole cake is going to look bad, and it's not something I could use sugar flowers or artificial flowers to cover. So I just had to you know, we made fresh fondants, you know, that morning. God bless my team. My team are the most amazing people. I call them the power team. They did everything possible to ensure that this cake was standing in the hall, and I am grateful to them, grateful to God who ensured that this cake was eventually standing. Because this Saturday morning, I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I started crying. But of course, you know that crying will not solve any problem. We just had to get to work. And then we got to work. We were able to cover the cake again, all over again. You know, a lot of resources, a lot of time went into it again. And I'm just grateful that everything eventually turned out well. Honestly, I'm just grateful that everything eventually turned out very well. The bride was very happy. She sent a review. In fact, this morning she sent another review. Thank you so much for my cake. I'm referring you to people and all that. And she's been a returning customer who has been patronizing us for birthday cakes for quite a number of time. All right. So when she told me she was gonna have a wedding cake, I was the one that suggested this design. I suggested it to her, like I would like to make something different for her, put light and all that, and then she agreed, and then we got to work. But this tear wanted to give me a tough time, but I overcame it. So when I saw the comments and all that on the post, I was like, oh God, these people don't know what I went through to ensure that this cake was standing on Saturday. They didn't know what I went through. But I am grateful still. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the comments too. I appreciate it. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the, I sincerely appreciate. I hope you are learning from my channel. Please let me know. Is any of my videos helpful to you? Alright, please let me know in the comments. Alright, thank you so much. If you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe and comment, share, and like. And of course, turn on the notification bell because I drop tutorials every week. And I know if you're a baker, we learn from each other, and I know you get something from my channel. So this was me just trying to get the sharp edges, because it still has to be neat as though it the way it was originally covered. So I took my time. My waist, at this point, my waist was paining me, like, because this chair we put the cake on was low, so I had to, my waist was paining me. But of course, we don't stop until we are done. And then my team were helping as well. I mean, they really made the work easy for me. I am grateful to them. We had to stencil all the cakes again, like, no, not all the cakes, this particular one. We had to stencil everything from, everything again. That was the royal icing we made at the hall. Alright, so we had to stencil everything. So this was my staff helping with it while I was doing other things. This is very important, checking the table where your cake is going to sit on, knowing that the cake is a big one, is very important. So that was me just trying to check the structure of the cake. So like I said, the cake has light, and then the light is not in the cake, right? The wires are not touching the cakes. There are central PVC pipe in each of the cake, centralized, where the wire passed through. So I had to, the one we did at home, had to unstack everything, and this was me reconnecting again. So each of the wire passed through the cake. There is a PVC pipe where that passed through the cake, so the wires are not touching the cake, please. And then we ensured we sprinkled glitters on all of the cake. You can see here, because we wanted it to be shiny. Then after that, we started attaching the sugar flowers, while the other ones, one of my staff was taping the board. We started putting the sugar flowers, On a scale of 1 to 10, please rate the cake. Do you like it? At this point, I was tired. And then the bride came very early to the hall. She came early, so we were just rushing and rushing. And then because the challenge we had while we were on transit to the hall, we had to recover the cake. So it took a lot of time, to set up in the hall. The bride was already in the hall. The event planner was on my neck. Please hurry up, busy me, hurry up. And I was tensed. Oh God, I was under pressure. I was tired. Well, eventually, it turned out well, and we are grateful to God. So this was it when we turned on the lights. The bride was super excited. The event planner, the people in the hall, the guests, and all that. It was, at this point, I was smiling. I just went to the back to pray, to thank God that against all odds, we were able to complete our job. So, do you like it? Would you like to try something like this for your bride? Were you inspired? Are you encouraged? Because I know baking can be tiring sometimes. You just want to give up, but please do not give up. Just be consistent, and then giving your best to every job you get. And I assure you that everything will turn out beautiful in the end. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you to the old ones. Thank you for your comments, your like and share. Please kindly subscribe to my channel. This is the first time you're seeing my video. I drop recipes and tutorials every week. I post videos every week, so please kindly stay glued. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. See you in my next video. Bye.